Good morning. Hope you're having a great day and your weekend was amazing. Hope you did something springy and fun with your family and enjoyed some beautiful spring weather. I love spring. It's all about blooming, and that's our theme for the month of May. Bloom where you're planted. Good morning again. I'm Kurt Beavers, and for those of you that have not joined us before or have never heard me just share a little bit before, welcome. And this is a little special thing we're doing for 5 days to kick off the month of May to add on to our yearly game plan, our monthly rhythms of using urgency to destroy procrastination to close out the month. And my iPad just went away. Where did it come back, iPad? Hang on a second, guys. Technology is failing me today. I think I have a bad cord. Anybody ever let's see, hold on. Come on, baby. Well, the iPad is not happy. There it goes. We're back. Okay, maybe I don't need to touch those cables very carefully. Sorry about that. But we're taking this 5 days to dig deeper on planning yearly. Good morning, June. Good morning, Rusty. Hey, Doug Farrar. I have one of my buddies join us. We got a little bit of testosterone this morning. Not a lot, but a little bit. So, Doug, you have to cheer loud and be the voice of reason for us. And you can be the black and white side of the comment section, and our ladies can be the more gray subjective side of our comments. No, some of you ladies may be black and white too. Just kidding. But Doug, welcome. So we talk about our year having a plan, our months having a rhythm where urgency destroys procrastination, and we talk about planning our weeks. We give you that prompt on Mondays to get you to kick your week off, kind of a cattle prod to say, don't just let this week happen. That's a dumb move. Take control of this week. Take some initiative and be intentional. Be proactive about your week. But we've really never broken down a day in, day out. And I'm sharing with you for 5 days what I do, kind of my routine in the morning to create momentum for the day. Because the 7 days make up a great week, and 4 1/3 weeks make up a great month, and 12 months make up the best year ever. And that's what we're trying to do. Okay. So there's a sheet we've been using. You don't have to use it. It'll be on the screen, and you can just chicken scratch on your own paper or grab your Apple Pencil and write on your iPad. But you can download a little workbook that we're using at makealife.com/BYE2025. We're going to try and hold this to 20 minutes. That's our goal. Sometimes we go to 30, but our goal is 20. So you can download that and get the scoop right there. But here's our plan, okay? We're going to go through this today. Each day, I tried to identify the things that I try and do every day and make them simple, spell them out so you could remember them. So every morning, in order to start my day wisely, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Lisa Johnson and Fred Finley Doug says he's in touch with his feminine side. I bet he's got a pink shirt on. No, just kidding, Doug. So Lisa, she put names in there. I forgot to remind you, if you want people to join us, tag them in the comments. They can watch this now or later. They can start for the night owls, which we're trying to convert our night owls at least to get their big rocks done first in the morning. But go ahead and invite people, and they can join us now or watch it later. Anyway, so fueling up, morning momentum is, I start with fueling up. So some people call it quiet time, quiet starts. But here's the bottom line. And I ask you guys to try and do this Saturday and Sunday, even though I wasn't with you Saturday and Sunday. Good morning, Melinda. Good morning, Rusty again. Who else? Oh, hey, Kevin. Good morning, Kevin. So we're going to try and take a minute again this morning, and I want to share with you some good stuff that I got for the day. And I don't want you to think that I am this monk or spiritual person. That I do get up at 4:30 in the morning. That gets up early in the morning, and I'm this super spiritual person because, my goal is to put God first, and I fail a lot. But I get up, And my goal is to fill my tank with good stuff. Because you know what? In order for me to have momentum, I have to have conversations and interact with people and invest in my relational capital. And you know the best way for people to desire to have a relationship with you is for you not to come to the table with an empty tank. When you greet people, whether it's your wife, your child, your colleague, your friend at the gym, whoever it might be, could you make a decision now that you're going to fill up so that you greet the people that your life brings you in contact with today with a full tank? And let me show you. I had three verses. I think it's three that hit me hard this morning that I think relate to us building momentum and what we're trying to do. Let's look at these three verses. Sometimes it's a book. Sometimes it's quiet time and God speaks to your heart. Sometimes it's a scripture verse. Sometimes I listen to a podcast with someone that I admire and I'm following, and they've got just good fuel for my day. But it's hard to share a podcast on here. But Galatians 6:9 says, "And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." And I want to ask you guys a question. I'm just being honest with you. Have you gotten so frustrated a few times with our technology transformation that you felt like that you were, weary would be a good word. I'm trying to figure this thing out, and it's just in the transition. There was new stuff. Something wasn't working that day in all of our transition, and you grew weary. But don't give up, guys. I mean, that was my word this morning. I was trying to run a report and got frustrated a little bit because I couldn't find what I wanted, and it ended up being. It was there. I just was so used to doing it the old way. I hadn't found exactly what I needed. But in life, there are things that are going to make you weary and tired that you got to do. And what an encouragement for in due season. If we'll bear the burden of of having to be tough for a little while, then we're going to reap and not just having to keep plowing, okay? The weary means you feel like you're plowing with no harvest. Harvest is coming, guys. That's what that's saying. If you keep the plow to the ground, you keep focused, doing what you know you're supposed to do, then you're going to reap what you sow. And that's how you create momentum. You keep the plow to the ground long enough that you create a fertile, planted soil that produces and produces and produces. So don't give up. Romans 5:3-4 this morning for me. It says, "Not only that, but we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope." Sometimes do you just want hope and you're not willing to go through the process of what's really going to build that hope in you? I know, I think there is a younger generation today that probably because of Google, they've always had the answer to everything at their fingertips. They've never not had, quote unquote, what they thought was the right answer. Google can mess up too. And Google is sometimes opinionated. And, if you don't search the right things, you can get the wrong answer. But instant gratification is what Google created. And whether it's recruiting someone brand new that's in that younger generation, or it could be older generation too, but there's a character trait that comes along with having Google since you were born that creates instant gratification. And that instant gratification means they're going to start a new business and they don't realize the blood, sweat, and tears you pour into something to build relationships, to build rapport, to build a customer base, to build a business where it ends up creating residual income for you, where there's that 3% performance bonus that's the biggest part of your check. That does not happen when you sign your application fee. But some just want what you have. They don't want to go out and build and do what you did to have what you have. And I thought this verse was great, that you know that when you're suffering through something, and suffering can be mild or it can be major. And those of you that are going through some real crisis, prayers for you. If you need somebody to pray for you, drop me a line and I'll be happy to add your prayer request. Thanks for all of you for them praying for our baby that's had open heart surgery. She's doing great. But suffering produces endurance. Endurance doesn't happen because you say, "I want to have endurance." No, you can't go run a marathon and have endurance. But no, you know what you do? You run miles and miles and miles. I know Kevin's on there. He's run marathons. He's prepared for a paddleboard race. He's telling me about an alligator chasing him when he was on a paddleboard. You know, that was some mental and emotional suffering to be on a board barefoot in a river with all you have is a paddle and an alligator's tracking you, you know? So that produced some character in Kevin that allowed him to do the race, you know? And in life, we need to have that. So if we want hope, which is, if you can be a dealer of hope, you will be a magnet, an attractant for people in your life. What a blessing. But you may have to go through some things to be able to be that dealer of hope and have that character in you, okay? That's a good fuel for the day. And then the last one is Proverbs 16:3, and this is my favorite of the three. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. Now, I kind of contorted that verse when I got started in my business. Between that verse and in Matthew, where it says, Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you. So I took this proverb and that verse in Matthew, with those being really on my heart, and I just so clearly heard from God saying, if you'll put my business first, then I'll take care of your business. And so this verse kind of says that to me in a different paraphrase, but commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. So there's some good fuel for you guys and some good for the day. I'm going to have to get a new USB cable. There it is. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to start our engines. We filled up. We're full of high test, good fuel. There's no we've gotten rid of that vacuum of space in our heads and our hearts and our souls today that the world could just dump in the crap the world dishes out. And we filled it up with good stuff. Now we're going to start our engines. And when we start our engines for the day, I want you to focus on 4 things. And those 4 things are, and yes, I got cute and used P's, but you probably would normally hear me use rocks for pebbles. But we've got the pebbles or rocks, pebbles, people, places, and plan. Okay. So we fueled up and now we're starting our engines. And these 3 things, or 4 things, sorry. I added the 4th. Actually, we started with 3 when Trey and I designed our slides here. And I said, no, we have to have places too, because that's events. So I don't know how good you're doing. We've done this twice, and then you had Saturday and Sunday to practice because I didn't want to make you have your same workday routine on Saturday and Sunday. You had Monday through Friday. But Pebbles means identifying and calendaring and putting on your agenda for the day the big rocks that have to happen. How many of you could name right now, put a big rock in the comments? Just list something that's not negotiable that you have to get done today. Let me see a few things that you have to get done today, not negotiable, okay? One of the things that I have to do today is I have to, I've got to get 5 more partner success boxes, success kits. Are they calling them boxes or kits? Boxes, success boxes, which is the 5 samples of everything. They're amazing. They're $99. They're $50 in PV. I think every new partner should order one because they're not free. The welcome kit's free. But I've been using those to send out as a gift to get some partners that got distracted during COVID and kind of lost their focus. I'll mail that, and then we'll have an amazing. What's happened so far with all the ones I've sent out? I've sent 5. I'm doing 5 more. I've sent them. They've called me and said, "Oh, thank you so much. Tell me about what all is in here. This is awesome. I didn't know the company was doing this." And so we have a great conversation. They get re-engaged. One of them's already gotten 6 customers. So great. Okay. But do it. That's one of my big rocks for the day. I mean, I've got big rocks that aren't business related, you know. I've got to meet with my irrigation guy and get him a check because, you know, I wrote him a check last week. I feel so sorry for him. He worked so hard. I wrote him a check and the bank returned the check because my signature didn't match. I have no idea. I've used the same signature for 20 years. It's a C and a little chicken scratch and a B and a little chicken scratch, and that's me. But anyway, so I got to do that. That's not a business thing, but I have got to do that today because that guy deserves to get paid, and that's a big rock. So another big rock I have is contacting 2 of my speakers for Blue Ridge Boot Camp trying to decide if they're going to be on stage together or not on stage together. We got to decide that because we're working on AV. So I can name you 5 or 6 more things. But what are your big rocks? Doug's is go to the gym because he's got to build the rocks on his arms. He's got to make those bigger. His guns are shrinking. Doug's got to work on his guns. That's a good rock for the day, Doug. I'm gonna ride my bike this afternoon. That's my exercise for today. I'm supposed to play pickleball, but got to do something for Lori at 5 o'clock. Oh no, 5 o'clock. I'm doing the speaking at a garden club where I think 20 or 30 people are going to buy a tower garden today. So could be pretty cool. It's not a normal part of our Juice Plus regimen, but it's a separate division of our company and still love our tower gardens. So what are your big rocks for the day? You got to do those first before you can take care of your little rocks. People. Who are the people you're going to talk to today? And we always start with, who are you going to see if you don't change anything? If your day doesn't change and you don't even think about business, it's, family, kids, colleagues, gym people, doctor's office people, pickleball, golf, exercise people. Who are you going to see today if you don't change anything? They're just going to be where you're going. And then who are you going to proactively add to your list to start a conversation with? And remember, it's not closing the sale always. Most sales occur 80% or more on the 5th conversation or after. But you're planting seeds into your relational capital. What's your plan? What's your schedule? How are you going to implement that? My plan universally every day is work hard so I can play hard. So I get done what I have to do, so that I like to have most of my afternoon free to do what I want to do, to go play and interact with the people I love doing life with. What's your plan? And then I want you to calendar the events that are coming up. What are you doing today? I've got a couple more Zoom calls I've got to be on today. I've got that Tower Garden event tonight at a gardening club. And what are you doing where you have to be somewhere or be online at an event? I want you to get those in your list. So just take like a minute and a half and work on these 4 categories. If you don't have the worksheet downloaded, just do it on a note on your iPad or something. But list the big rocks, the people you're going to interact with today. What's your schedule? How are you going to plan that out? Big rocks first, work hard, play hard. And what places do you need to get on your calendar that maybe an event you just found out about? Like I know that tomorrow we're having our kickoff for May. It's a Zoom call. And then on Thursday, I'm super excited. We're launching boards, our Juice Plus corporate boards. The board with our boards app is launching on Thursday. Killer, awesome. So those are some things I've got on my calendar for this week. Go, take about a minute and a half and work on that for a minute. While you're working on that, I'm going to read some of the things in the comments. Tamitha is going to contact 10 potentials. June is going to connect with a canceled customer. Lisa Johnson's got a power hour. 10 potentials to empty our vehicle from a trip from Utah. Yep. Know how that feels. We're going to the beach on Sunday, and when I get back, it'll be get the vacuum out and get the sand out. Those are important things. So Diane is sending some videos. I hope you're sending links and you're not sending a VHS. If somebody sent me a DVD, I don't even have a DVD player anymore. It's all links. It's all digital. Are you all saying you can't hear me? Somebody says lost volume. I don't know. My meter that says my mic's working says it's working. Let's see. Rusty Armstrong is playing her team Zoom call. What about, how many of you like a big rock today? Maybe you need to buy your tickets for Indianapolis, book a hotel room. Melinda's going to start something with her front line. Jackie can hear me. That's good. Mona Hitch is working on her 4 events for this week. Okay, cool. All right, let's keep moving. Pedal to the metal. You see our 4th one right there? our third category is pedal to the metal. So we have to do something to create and start that inertia or that momentum for the day. So what I'd like for you to do is, of all the things that you've got on your list, or especially your big rocks, which one are you're the most excited about, and just launch with that one thing. You know, we have to do something to kick it off. So, one of the things for your momentum mornings, I don't know if you do, I have a chair and a table and a lamp, same time, same. Actually, I don't have a lamp. You know what I did? So in my office, I got these Philips light bulbs. Does anybody have like the Philips light bulbs that you can adjust colors and change you know, change the what is it, the temperature of the bulb? Anybody use the any kind of smart things, automated light bulbs? So hey, that's cool. Lori Davies is meeting with the owner of an IV therapy place. It's a brand new one down here at the lake, and I have that intention. I haven't gone to meet with them yet. So I can say, you can watch this. I can say, Siri, zoom yellow. Look at my background. And the lights change back there from blue to yellow. Hey, Siri, zoom red. Siri, zoom red. That didn't work, did it? Siri, zoom blue. Oh, it is red back there. It did turn red behind me. It's just hard to see right now. But I can tell it when I come in the mornings where I was going. I got sidetracked. I love my automation. When I come in the mornings, I can tell my SIRI, I don't want to say it right now. I can say office read, and it'll turn on my office lights at a temperature where I can see good to read, right over my chair, right over my table, and I have my same spot, same time, same place that I get to have this momentum mornings every day. And I was talking to Dr. Jan Roberto over the weekend, and she has the exact same thing. And we laughed because she said, I just finished my cup of coffee. And I said, yeah, I said, have my coffee too. I bring my coffee down to my morning chair. And she said, how much coffee do you drink? And I said, well, I have one cup that I drink all. And then I go back and I make the second cup. And I usually only finish half of it, and I end up dumping it out when it gets cold. She said, I do the exact same thing. So she has a coffee and a half routine, like cup and a half, like routine like I do. But you need some kind of routine to make sure you launch it. What is your trigger? What's going to trigger you to make sure that happens? Now, some of you don't get up and get out of bed as easy as others. So some of you may need to get in a cold plunge. I do a cold plunge too, but I do it after my morning routine. I start my mornings with this first, but some people have to get up, cold shower. I mean, it's just some people don't wake up good. I mean, I'll wake up ready to charge hell with a squirt gun. Now, after 9 o'clock at night, unless I'm playing a sport, watching a movie where there's lots of guns and banging and noise and action, I will not be awake, to do much of anything good after about 9:30. My wife says, Kurt, you don't even have to get horizontal to go to sleep. You just need diagonal, So, but I want you to think about what is it going to take for you to press it. So one of the things I'd like for you to see is go back and look at some days where you did this and remember those days. All throughout Scripture, when the Israelites were on their journey to find the promised land that God had given them, they made these spiritual markers when they were wandering in the desert and they were like kind of not getting anywhere. When God would come through, they made these pillars of stones and spiritual markers. And so and when they went back and remembered that, they remembered how awesome God is, So if you want to have a marker to help you get up and put the pedal to the metal and make yourself do your momentum mornings when you're tired and you don't want to, keep a record of the productivity of your days when you do it and when you don't do it. It will shock you, okay? So we're fueled up. Start your engines, and now where I'm about to send you off, because what I want you to do is I want you to put the pedal to the metal, and I want you to get your big rocks done. And let's make this your goal here. Listen, think about this. Think about how hard you can play and all the fun things you can do this afternoon if you'll put the pedal down and get done the things that matter most, okay? All right, we have 2 more days of momentum mornings. I've enjoyed doing this with you guys. And again, I probably went over. I went 5 minutes or 4 minutes over our time. But have a blessed, amazing day. Create tons of momentum. Pedal to the metal. Let's get it done. and I'll see you in the morning.